Day 351 of Everyday Bible with Ada Ukabia. Philippians chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. All praises to God. Today, we go start and we go finish another book of the New Testament. This life where we live, they always go as planned. Sometimes we dey confident, sometimes we dey confused, sometimes we dey feel say we dey strong, other times we dey feel like say it too much, the wahala too much for us. This book of Philippians, now Paul na write am while he was still in prison. Yet, it dey overflow with joy, with hope, with perspective. That one alone supposed to tell us something powerful. Say joy is not tied to circumstances. It is rooted in purpose. My first lesson for today comes from verse 6 of the first chapter. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. That's what Paul talk. This one now for everyone where they feel like say then they stuck or left behind, are be unfinished. Growth, they take time. Now I want to remind everyone, God know they abandon his work halfway. So if you still dey breathe, then your story is still being written. So stop judging yourself by where you are right now. Growth, na progress, no be performance. So you need to trust God with your becoming, not just your present state. My next lesson is from verse 9 to 10 of the first chapter still. Paul, they pray that love will grow more and more in knowledge and depth of insight. Love alone is not enough. Love, they need direction. So you feel love sincerely and still make poor decisions if wisdom is missing. So real maturity is learning how to love wisely, knowing when to talk, when to wait, and when to walk away. So you need to ask God not just for love, but for discernment. Make Spirit lead you. Learn to choose what truly matters and not just what feels good. Wisdom helps us to live with clarity and integrity. As we enter verse 15 and verse 18, Paul, they acknowledge that some people, they preach with wrong motives, out of envy or rivalry. Yes, so not true. Yet Paul say, what does it matter? Say then they still preach Christ. Now, it's an emotional maturity. Paul, they refuse to get distracted by competition or personal offense. Him, they focus on the big picture. Because not be everyone will have pure intentions, and that's okay. Don't let bitterness rob you of purpose. Focus on the impact, not the insult. My next lesson, they come from second chapter of Philippians and verses 3 to 4, where Paul, they tell us, we could do nothing out of selfish ambition, but to value others above ourselves. These are what where they celebrate self-promotion, humility, they stand out, abeg. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking less about yourself. Practice empathy when you have conversations with people. Learn to listen without planning your reply. Healthy relationships, they grow where humility they live. My next lesson, they come from that part where Paul talks, say, to spare me sorrow upon sorrow. Him, they speak of deep emotional strain. Even strong believers, they feel pain, as we don't see them with Paul. Faith does not cancel grief, but it gives us strength to carry it. So grief go fit happen even to the best believer in Christ. Just know, say, emotional burdens are real and should not be ignored. You need to take emotional exhaustion seriously. Rest is not weakness. Now wisdom. God cares about both your mental and emotional health. Now when I enter chapter 3, verse 7, where Paul describes say, all those things where him they consider as gain, now him they see them as loss for Christ. Growth, they require reassessment. Some things that once mattered may no longer serve your purpose. Periodically, it could make you review your priorities. Release what no longer aligns with your values, because sometimes letting go is the greatest step forward. The next lesson will be in that same chapter 3, verses 18 and 19, where Paul they warn about people whose minds are set on earthly things. If the life where they live now only for comfort, pleasure, and applause, abeg my brother and sister, eventually that life will lead to emptiness, because temporary rewards cannot satisfy eternal hunger. Ask yourself what truly drives your decisions. Short-term pleasure often leads to long-term regret, so make you dey careful. Purpose is supposed to give meaning beyond momentary success. The next lesson now for our last chapter for today's session, verse 8. Paul, they encourage us to think about what is true, wetin dey noble, wetin dey right, wetin dey pure, and wetin dey admirable. Your thoughts supposed to dey shape your emotions. Then your emotions na supposed to dey shape your actions. So you suppose dey intentional about wetin you dey feed your mind. Limit negativity where possible, abeg. A renewed mind dey lead to a peaceful life. Lesson number 9 na from verse 13 of this last chapter. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Many of us dey quote this quotation. This verse is not about unlimited success, na about endurance. It dey mean say you can face life's challenges with divine strength. You may not control circumstances, but you can rely on God's strength, because strength dey show up most clearly in difficult moments. When you depend on God, na a great sign of maturity. The next lesson in verse 19 of this last chapter, because we need to trust God as our provider. Paul dey assure believers that God will supply every need wey dem get. God's provision may not always look like excess, but it is always enough. Release anxiety about tomorrow. Trust God with both needs and timing. Gratitude dey open your eyes to what you already have, because they say wetin you dey look for Sokoto, e dey for your Sokoto.